How to show up even when you're afraid. This is the topic of day 8 of my embodied radiance activations here on IG Live every day. And I'm super excited to talk about this topic. I know every day I have said this, but this is really what lights me on and turns me on and gets me going, is really sharing these not only tips, but things that are really implementable and integratable into your everyday life, whether it's in your relationship with yourself, it's in your love relationships with your community, at work, or if you're an entrepreneur in your soul-led businesses as well. And this is really the place that I love to teach from, is embodiment. Because ideas are just ideas and concepts are just something that you hear. Understanding is something that happens with the brain. But when it really lands in your body by experiential knowledge, by really feeling it, and then doing it, implementing it into your life, that's really where you're going to see massive changes over short periods of time when you actually take what I'm sharing every single day and then live it. So this is what we're going to talk about: fear, excitement, courage, and doing things even when you're afraid. So I'm going to dive in just a moment. And for those of you who are tuning in, always feel free to pop in your questions or your comments or examples, or if there's something I'm saying that is yeah, that's such a key gem or takeaway, make sure that you may put it in the comments so that we can keep things super interactive and relevant for you as well. Okay. So for years, I've been supporting people through either coaching or through mentorship around how to really live your best life, how to come alive, how to feel vibrant, juicy, radiant, so that my hope is that when you end up on your deathbed at the end of your life, that you can look back and say, I have fully loved and I have fully lived. And these are two things that when anybody who has worked with people who are dying and asked the questions like, what do you most regret in your life? That these are the things that I never fully loved and I never fully lived. And we have such precious time on this planet, to really make the most out of it, to make the most meaning out of it. And the number one thing that stops us from fully loving and fully living is fear. I'm afraid. I'm afraid to do it wrong. I'm afraid to say the wrong thing. I'm afraid that I'll be rejected. I'll be afraid that people will judge me. I'll be afraid that I'll fail. And fear, false evidence appearing real, fear, yeah, is the acronym, is just that. And we can get locked so much in our head around feeling the pain of not getting what we truly desire so much that many people will not ever do what they came here to really do. And will settle for breadcrumbs. I'm going to talk about that in a few days. No more settling for breadcrumbs in our life. But so many of us will do it. We'll date the guy just because, well, he asked me and, it was pretty good. It's pretty good. Or I'll ask yeah, so how is your marriage? Yeah, it's like long-term marriage, it's, relationships are tough, right? It's like, okay, well, yeah, and, so how's your job? Well, it gives me stability. It's not really what I love to do, but, And when I hear conversations like that, first of all, I can really, I feel that. I feel how fear has really kept people from fully living, and I understand it. I get it. And then on the other hand, there's this side of me that wants to say, but hey, did you know that on the other side of fear is possibility? That we actually don't ever even know what is possible for us, that if we don't take that first courageous step to go for what we really want, or to even ask ourselves, what do I really desire in my life, in love, in leadership, in business, in health? What is it that you truly desire? That's the first step. Be brave enough to ask yourself that, and be even braver enough to hear the response. many people don't even get there. And if you have already gotten there after this, or right now, write down, okay, what is it that you truly desire? Then we start to identify, well, what is it that you're really afraid of? Is it that you're afraid that somebody's not going to like what you have to say? Are you afraid that you're going to give it your all and then at the end of the day look back and say, well, that didn't work out? Are you going to say that, like, for some moments of discomfort, of feeling the pain of rejection or abandonment or something, that you're not going to go for your dreams? You're not going to create this life that you truly desire, that makes you come alive, that you want to wake up for every morning? Really? And I say that not from a place of judgment, but from a place of real, like, love, of just daring to ask this question. And today I'm coming on a little bit sharper, I think, because I just finished Untamed level 1 in Zurich yesterday with this group of women. And oh my God, these women, my heart blown open. Like, just to watch women come alive in 5 weeks and hear the stories of how they've made shifts in their lives because they got braver to dare to ask for what they want and then make the first step to do that is everything. Everything. So what that takes is a few things. So if you ever feel afraid and your fear is stopping you from going for the thing that you really want, I'm going to give you a few tips today on how you can overcome that. Okay, so the first thing is being okay with not being liked, and that not everybody is going to agree with you, and that is okay. And in fact, that's really normal. If you have people-pleasing syndrome, I'm like a recovering people-pleaser. I really learned how to do this when I was young. Go and watch a few days ago. I did a talk on like no more people-pleasing and setting boundaries. It's really important. So really getting a clear understanding and being okay that not everybody is going to like you. And you're not here on this planet to be liked, because that would be setting yourself up for failure. It's just not going to happen. And, sometimes I go into these kind of like spiritual self-development places and people will say like, oh, nobody here is judging. Well, I hate to break it to you. I don't think that's true. I mean, we can create safe enough spaces and we can learn to condition ourselves to not judge as much as possible and sit in curiosity and wonder. But the reality is that the human being and the human mind judges. That's actually how we understand and interpret life. It's just what it does. So if we don't have to make it a big thing and a huge story that you might be being judged, and we can just let go of that and actually say, this is like a bit next level coaching right now, yeah? But we can just say like, okay, so what if people are judging? It's gonna happen. So can I just let that be a fact rather than a limiting belief story that keeps you from living your full life? So that's one thing. And I know it's tougher said than done, but really get like clear on that. The second thing is that when you want to do something brave and you're afraid, remember that the chemical of fear and excitement is the same in your body. It's actually, the difference is what your mind interprets this to be. And I love this tidbit. I actually first heard it when I was 18 years old and I went skydiving for the first time. That was scary. And I was so excited to do it. Me and my high school friends, we had decided that it was our graduation present to ourselves. Our parents were in dismay, like, oh my God, all our kids are gonna die at their 18th graduation. Well, nobody died. We had a fantastic time. And I learned this key thing for life. And the skydiving instructor said, when you get up there and we open the door and you feel the wind and the pressure on your body as you look out and you're gonna jump out of an airplane, like how counterintuitive biologically is this? Just remember that fear and excitement are the same chemical response in your body. So when you are feeling afraid, see if you can alchemize that into excitement. Yeah, so I'm excited that I get to go live every day on Instagram. I'm excited for this opportunity to grow. I'm excited for this opportunity to learn. I'm excited for the failures I'm inevitably going to have, because that's going to teach me more about myself and teach me how to get better about how I can grow and be a better human being. You get to do it, right? So you start to turn the fear into excitement by what do you get to do? What is your opportunity here? So that was gold for me, and I hope that that can help you in your life. And then the third thing is, people always ask me, especially when I coach women on how to like create their businesses, like, how do I get started? You know, and you might feel like you need the next certificate, the next training. You've already got like every massage therapy under the moon and the sun. You've been, you know, studying for like over a decade. You have like tons of happy clients, like, you know, and you just want to do the next thing, but you're like, but I can't yet. Like, let me just do another course. Let me just learn more and continue to be a student. So 2 things to that. One is, first of all, good for you for being an eternal learner. And I have so much respect for that, because learning and growing is part of what makes us more skillful in who we are and what we do. But that being said, watch for that fine line for when you're starting to really hide behind a training or hide behind like not having enough experience before you really put yourself out there, because that's just another sabotage mechanism. And how to get over that is that don't wait until you're not afraid to do something. You do it anyways. You make small steps and then you become less afraid. It actually happens the opposite way around. You start being more fearless and more courageous when you can prove and show to yourself that you can do things that are brave. You can step forward even when your heart is pounding and your hands are sweating, and you do it anyways. And I see this all the time, how this works. Like I see this every single session of Untamed that I do with the women. You know, we look at these different pillars of really reclaiming ourselves, and what we do is courageous in this container. It's like not another women's circle. It is like we go for it. And every time women are like, oh, can I do that? Like, wow, okay, that's bold. Every time they do, by the way, and like always, they come out the other side being like, wow, this is actually the most natural thing in the world for me to feel so free, to be so expressive, to communicate what's on my heart, to dare to ask for what I desire. It's actually so natural. But guess what, babe? It only became natural because you dared to do it. And you proved to yourself that you could, even when you were afraid. Does that make sense? Yeah, so don't wait for the day that you're not afraid to do something. It probably never will come. Courageous people do things when they're afraid, and then that's how you build your courage and your fearlessness. Okay, so those are my tidbits. I've got like 1 or 2 more things. But again, if you're hopping on, make sure that you pop in what is your greatest takeaway for today. And people who comment every day for these 14 days of embodied radiance activations, you're going to be entered into a draw to win a free 1-day ticket to my Radiance retreat happening in Calgary on April 28th. Or you can just DM me Radiance and get your ticket, because it's going to be so good. It's not just a retreat where you like receive, I mean, you will do that, but it's really an activation for your life. You're going to leave so inspired and so turned on, feeling so juicy and radiant from the inside. That's that. If you're not able to come to the retreat, all good. You get entered into a one-on-one coaching session with me, which is a great opportunity for us to dive in. I also wanted to mention that I'm not doing a big public launch about it this year, but I've been teaching a course called Alchemy of Business. And instead of doing it as a group, as a big group training, I'm actually offering it as like a mini mind, which means that we're going to do this training, but only for 4 to 6 women. 2 of those spots are already filled. We want to start in May. So if you are somebody who's like, I'm so ready to start my soul-led business, or I've got one and I want your support, Alice, to help me take that to the next level, make sure you DM me Alchemy, and then we can get on a chat and I'll share with you all of the details. It's going to be good, so good. Again, it's tiny, tiny group. This is like the best way to get coaching from me rather than doing one-on-one, but at a fraction of the price. So really come in, get in on that. Okay. And then the last thing about fear and courage and how it relates to radiance. Radiance, especially feminine radiance, is one that is deeply devoted and courageous. I think the more, you could say, like, masculine way of building courage is by like getting stronger somehow and kind of pushing through it. The feminine way, I feel, of courage is in the word itself. Courage has the word cœur, which is heart in French. And there's this word rage, right? It's like this fiery rage of the heart, this burning desire to share yourself fully in the world, who you are, what you have to say, how you can support, how you can serve. And so feminine courage is really one that is channeled through the fire of your heart. Let your burning desire for what you love be the leader in the face of fear. Tap into your devoted heart so fiercely for whatever it is that you stand for, right? Your own self-love, for your children to understand what it's like to have a parent that is courageous and dares to take risks. Dare to take a stand for the independent person inside you who's like, I'm going to finally choose myself first. Yeah, I'm finally going to let go about worrying and wasting my life energy on what other people think, because you know what? They're going to think what they think anyways. So just let them do their thing. And you focus on this courage, this rage of your heart, this ferocious devotion of what it is that you most desire and want to manifest on this planet and in your lifetime. So that when you get to your deathbed at the end of your life, you can look back and say, wow, I fully lived, I fully loved, and I didn't let myself get held back by fear. Yes? Shall we do that? All right, so that is the embodied radiance activation for today. I hope that you enjoyed it. As usual, please leave your comments, share how this lands for you. I can always stay for a few extra moments if you've got questions or aha moments that you want to share. And day 8. So then we've got day 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We've got 6 more days left. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of different things. We're going to start to step into self-leadership and learning how to really take full embodied responsibility for our lives. So when we dare to take, these courageous steps, we're going to do that. Tomorrow, I'm going to talk a little bit more about courage and how to make sure that you are celebrating yourself along the way. This is another way to build courage, self-leadership, deep, unwavering self-love. So I'm going to share about challenges, celebrations, learnings, breakthroughs tomorrow. It's going to be a really good one, super implementable into your life as well. And then moving forward, there'll be, more embodiment practices, more things about radiance. And if you have any questions or topics that you want me to talk about, there is an empty slot in that last day. So feel free to hit me up with some of your questions and inspirations or things that you want me to talk about. Pop them into the comments. I read every single one and I'd love to hear. Okay, we got a few comments here, so I'll stay on. Okay, so boiled sushi. I love your handle. What if other people are judging my mantra? Oh, what if people are judging my mantra for next week? Perfect. So what if they are? And again, it's just a fact. They are. Their business, not yours. And hey, remember also that anything that somebody is judging you about is simply a projection of their own selves as well. And if you get like a consistent feedback and it hits you in some way, then maybe there's something to look at for sure. And that's being mirrored back that you can learn and grow from. But really, like if it's a one-off thing, Don't worry about it. Like, people are going to judge. Let them judge. You do you. So much more fun that way. Okay. You are amazing. Thank you, Pamela. Janet, I love Janet. Thanks, Alice. Loving these daily check-ins. Yeah, you're so welcome. Thank you for the inspo. You're so welcome. Okay, what do you do with the physical sensations we feel when we have fear? Okay, such a good question. So, question back to you and anybody that's listening. What physical sensations do you notice in your body when you feel fear? Yeah, so answer that as I scroll through the other comments. Oh, I'm done. Okay, that was quick. So I'll share some of my sensations and then just pop yours in there as well. I often, when I'm afraid, I really feel the pounding of my heart, right? It's like boom, 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 boom. Sometimes I feel like a little bit of this anxious flutter in my belly. When I'm afraid, sometimes I can start talking really fast. I have a Vata constitution. So in Ayurveda, when I'm under stress, I revert to Vata, which is a lot of air or a lot of wind. So it can get like really energy like this kind of sensation. Okay, trembling hands, weakness, tension in the solar plexus. Yeah, it totally makes sense. Solar plexus is your seat of power, right? So what I would say is two things. If you're feeling really afraid, first of all, give yourself a moment to feel afraid. Like, no need to bypass it as well. Fear is often meaning that there's something that's really meaningful behind there for you, especially if you're on the path of being an entrepreneur and really sharing, yourself out into the world and what you have to say. So it's often that we like feel so passionate about something that there's just this like deep desire, that other people will get it. And that can create this palpitation of the heart, right? So give yourself a moment to just feel this preciousness of being afraid. And then in order to let it move through the body, you can do things like shaking, so trembling in the hands. So the hands want to tremble. That's a natural fear response, It's a stress response. So actually do it consciously. Shake your hands. I'm dog sitting right now, and it's a really sweet dog. And it had a very traumatized past. So anytime it gets stressed, it actually does this, right? The body starts to shake uncontrollably and unconsciously. So if your body is doing something, just trust that it has its wisdom, but do it consciously, And then bring your breath into it. And then let it shake it out. And then once you've shaken it out, then I would suggest that you do a few deep breaths, and anywhere that you're feeling that tension. So for example, in your solar plexus, then you'll want to breathe some deep breaths into this area of your body. Give it some space, give it some love. And then another body piece is then how can you get anchored? And for everybody, it's different, But for many people, the anchoring of fear, rather when fear has this energy of moving up and all over the place, and it's too much, then ground it. Like ground it into your body. Take some deep breaths into your pelvis. Take some grounding like squats into the earth. Feel your feet, feel your knees. Take your hands onto your body. Give yourself some really like slow, earthy squeezes so that you can really land here now. That should help you regulate some of the fear so that then you can work more consciously in activating, in alchemizing the fear into excitement. Okay, I hope that helped. Let me know if it does. And let's see if there's any other questions. No, I think that's it. So there you are. Wishing you a wonderful day. And oh, you know what? If you stayed till the end, I'll give you a little bonus. Write in shake in the comments. And I'm going to send you a freebie, which is a link to my practice called Shake Off Your Shoulds. It's so good. It's like 11 minutes. We do some shaking. We actually move through the chakras. We reclaim energy back into your solar plexus so that after this like 11-minute practice, you will feel way more fear. You will get much more into your body and then feeling your fire of courage to be able to take on whatever it is that you wanted to. So DM me, shake in the the comments and we will send that over. All right, much love for now. I'll see you tomorrow, same place, same time.